Hi, it's Reggie. Welcome back to Moonlight and Moments. This one is for the military spouses, for the ones holding it down while someone they love is halfway across the world, for the ones who smile and say, I'm fine, even when their hearts ache in the quiet, for the ones who carry birthdays, homework folders, oil changes, and late night worry all by themselves. This is for the one who know what it feels like to live in the in between, the space between deployment and homecoming, between strength and softness, between duty and desire, between who you are for everyone else and the quiet question of who you are for you. And maybe you're not a military spouse. Maybe you're not counting down the days on a calendar or folding uniforms with a lump in your throat. Maybe you're just someone who's just been showing up for everyone else so long, you forgot how to show up for yourself. If that's you, stay. This story is for you too. Tonight, we're telling a story that plays with the weird, the funny, the tender, and the true. A horror comedy wrapped in love letters, cake, and under eye serum. Because maybe the scariest thing isn't being alone, it's finally seeing yourself again. So, wherever you are, whatever space you're holding, this one's for you. So, take a breath and let's begin. Nina had handled deployments before. She knew how to prep the pantry, map out the bedtime routines, and nod politely when people said, I don't know how you do it. She always did it, with a smile, with just enough mascara. But this time, when the door closed and her husband left again, something shifted. The house wasn't just quiet, it was unsettling present. On the first night, she heard the vacuum. It turned on by itself, not in a weird kind of way, in a poltergeist sprinting vacuum with revenge energy kind of way. It reared to life and zipped across the living room like it was personally offended by her clutter. Nina screamed, held a throw pillow, and leaped onto the couch like a Victorian widow fainting from surprise. The vacuum, undeterred, cleaned the entire living room with a military precision, beeped twice, and then retreated beneath the bookshelf like it had completed its mission. Nina blinked. Okay, terrifying, but thank you? It didn't stop there. The next morning, she shuffled into the bathroom only to find red lipstick scrawled across the mirror, the writing jagged and haunted looking. You're beautiful. Stop pretending you're not. She yelped, dropped her toothbrush, and backed out like a mirror might bite. It took a full minute for her to recognize the lipstick color. It was hers, one she hadn't worn in years. Later that day, the bathtub started filling by itself. Bubbles, steam, and a lavender candle lit and flickering on the edge, like it belonged in a haunted spa commercial. Nina approached with a coat hanger in hand, ready to fight whatever demon had watched too much Pinterest. A note in the mirror read, in bold letters, No one needs you right now. Get in. It was horrifying, and weirdly considerate. She sat in the bath. She relaxed. She laughed, just a little, but it was real. And then there were post-its everywhere. On the fridge. Eat the cake, you're sad, not sinful. On the bathroom cabinet. Glow up, you tragic queen. On her laptop. Write that thing you keep thinking about. It wasn't just spooky. It was intimate. These weren't random hauntings. These were specific. This ghost knew her deeply. One night, after putting kids to bed, she tried to doom scroll herself into emotional numbness, but her phone died at 84%. She sighed, got up to plug it in, and found her skincare products laid out perfectly on the bathroom counter, like an altar of self-respect. She didn't even like skincare, or she hadn't. It always felt like too many steps, too much effort for someone who usually finished their days with microwave food and a half scream stuck in her throat. But that night, she rubbed serum into her face, phone propped between moisturizer and retinol. She looked like a swamp witch, and she felt radiant. Doom scrawling with the cause, she muttered with a grin. It was around this time Nina stopped feeling afraid, because the truth hit her like a glass of cold water from the haunted fridge. She wasn't being hunted. She was being helped. Not by ghosts, not by some loving ancestor or a spooky Pinterest demon. By herself. By the version of her she had locked away. The one who used to write late at night, who used to laugh too loud, who wore red lipstick just because. The one who got buried beneath all the surviving, and the supporting, and the holding it together. That part of her had possessed the house. Turned on the vacuum, filled the tub, lit the candle, wrote the lipstick note, left the cake, arranged the skincare. Because Nina had always been last on her own list. But now, in the strange silence of deployment, that forgotten version of her was banging pots and pans and yelling, "Hey, I'm still here." And Nina finally heard her. She stood in the mirror one night, green mask on, laughing at her own reflection, and she whispered, "I see you." The lights didn't flicker. The house didn't creak. But something deep inside her has settled. Not because she stopped missing him, not because the loneliness disappeared, but because she stopped abandoning herself. And in the space between their goodbyes and their reunion, she had found someone new. Or at least got someone back. Herself. Sometimes the ache of being alone isn't just in the silence. It's in how loud the silence makes you. It brings up every question you didn't have to ask when the house was full, and the to-do list was long, and your energy was split between holding your people up and holding yourself together. That's the paradox so many military spouses live with. You become a steady presence in the absence of someone else. You become the planner, the nurturer, the household glue. You anticipate everyone's needs before your own even enter the room. And when your partner deploys again, your instinct is to go into holding mode. Hold it down, hold it in, hold it together. But in that holding, something often gets lost. Not the love, not the commitment, but you. The space between partners, the physical, emotional, and even spiritual distance, can feel unbearable. And yet, hidden inside that ache is a kind of invitation. A soft whisper, a gentle hunting. It says, "You're still here." You, the person who once had dreams beyond calendars. You, who forgot how much you love a long shower or the sound of your own laugh. You, who has given so much space for someone else's calling that you forgot your soul was asking for something too. That's what this story was about. Yes, it was funny. Yes, it was absurd. But under every haunted vacuum and ghostly post-it, there was truth. That the woman in the quiet house was never really alone. She was just waiting for herself to come home. And maybe that's where the real healing starts. Not by avoiding the loneliness, but by asking what it has to teach you. Not by filling the house with noise, but by listening to what the quiet wants to say. Not by waiting to be needed, but by daring to need yourself. There is grief in separation. There's no need to sugarcoat that. There is longing, frustration, fatigue. But there's also room. A room you get to stand in fully without apology. And in that space, you're allowed to do small, outrageous, healing things. You're allowed to light a candle and take a bath when no one's asking for anything. You're allowed to eat the cake without earning it. You're allowed to find joy in serums and comedy monologues and 20 minutes of doom scrolling with a purpose. You're allowed to look in the mirror and say, "I matter," even when no one is watching. The house is haunted, yes. But maybe that's not scary. Maybe it's sacred. Maybe the ghost is just the echo of your own voice, calling you back to yourself. And maybe you don't have to exercise it. Maybe you just have to say, I hear you. Let's begin. For many military spouses, the word deployment doesn't just mean distance. It means reshuffling your entire sense of rhythm. It means eating dinner at a different tempo, answering fewer texts, sleeping with one side of the bed untouched, carrying 100 little responsibilities that used to be shared. It means quieting your own needs because there's a mission, a cause, a duty that comes first. And you love them. You chose this life with them. You are proud. But still, it's hard. And it's lonely in ways people don't always understand. It's not just the missing, it's the guilt of not missing well enough. It's the worry that if you do find joy in the meantime, it's somehow a betrayal. So many military spouses live in that tension, loving someone deeply and putting parts of themselves on pause. Not because they have to, because they've been conditioned to. We're taught that strength looks like sacrifice, that selflessness is noble, that waiting quietly is a kind of honor. But what if it's also a form of self erasure? And what if the absence isn't just a void, but a window? A way back to the self you left behind in the daily demands of partnership, parenting, and performance. Because the truth is, even in a committed, supportive marriage, your partner's career, their calling, their needs often take center stage. Not out of ego, but out of momentum, out of necessity, and slowly your own ambitions start to dim. Not disappear, just fade to the background. Until one day, the silence creeps in, the distance stretches, and you realize you don't fully know what to do with yourself. And that realization is heartbreaking, but it's also hopeful. Because in that very space between missing and mourning, between duty and downtime, you might just rediscover the thread that leads back to you. Maybe that looks like skincare at midnight while watching late night comedy. Maybe it's putting on a dress with no occasion. Maybe it's singing in the car again. Maybe it's letting yourself be silly, or curious, or a little selfish just for a moment. Rediscovery doesn't always come in big declarations. Sometimes it arrives through a laugh, a slice of cake, a bath drawn in silence. Sometimes it shows up when you stop waiting for permission and start giving it to yourself. And it's important to remember, loving yourself more during their absence doesn't mean loving them less. It doesn't mean you're not waiting. It means you're living while you wait. Because you're not just the one who stays behind. You're the one who keeps going. And you deserve to come back to yourself with as much devotion as you give to them. If you're listening to this and the silence around you feels heavier than usual, this is for you. Maybe your partner's deployed. Maybe you're holding down a household while trying to keep your own emotional roof from leaking. Maybe you're the go-to for everyone else, but no one's asking how you're really doing. Maybe you're so used to being in survival mode that you forgot what it feels like to simply be with yourself. You are not alone in that. Here's the truth. You're allowed to miss someone and still make space for yourself. You're allowed to feel sad and still smile. You're allowed to grieve what's hard and grow something beautiful in its place. There's room for all of it. And if you don't know where to begin, here are a few soft permission-filled steps to consider. Take what resonates. Leave the rest. 1. Make space for the small things. Not everything needs to be a glow-up. Maybe it's just 5 minutes. Maybe it's one deep breath while your coffee brews. Maybe it's listening to a podcast that makes you laugh or putting on a face mask while you're doom scrolling at night. It all counts. Tiny moments of presence are progress. 2. Flip the focus gently. It's easy to center the whole day around someone who's far away. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you loving. But sometimes, try this. Flip the question. Instead of what do they need today, ask what do I need today? Start small: hydration, sunlight, a song that feels like yours, a snack you don't have to share. That shift doesn't erase your love, it widens it. 3. Treat self care like a ritual, not a reward. You don't have to earn your own kindness. You don't have to be productive to deserve softness. Let skincare be messy. Let your rest be real. Take a bath because you want to. Wear something you like just because it feels like you. Light the candle. Eat the cake. Romanticize your own recovery. 4. Let the silence be a mirror. The quiet can feel brutal when you're used to filling every moment. But what if the silence isn't empty? What if it's reflective? Use it to ask who I am outside of my roles. What brings me joy that's just mine? What part of me have I been missing? You don't have to answer right away. Just asking begins the return. 5. Welcome yourself back. Maybe the hunting you feel isn't fear, it's a memory of the version of you who used to dream, who used to dance, who used to write or create or take up space. She's still here. She's just been waiting for you to say, I see you. I missed you. Let's begin again. This isn't about ignoring your sadness. It's about honoring your presence. You can love someone across an ocean and still wrap your own arms around the person standing in your mirror. You're not just surviving this, you're shaping who you'll be on the other side. And the most radical thing you can do right now? Choose yourself. Not as a backup plan, but as a worthy, radiant priority. Because the space between us doesn't have to be hollow. It can be sacred. It can be yours. Let's take a moment, wherever you are, standing, sitting, curled up in bed. Just let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let the breath you've been holding go. Inhale slowly through your nose. Let the air expand your ribs, your belly. Exhale through your mouth like a whisper, like a quiet yes. Do that again. Let's do it together. Inhale, hold, exhale. And now I want you to imagine something. You're standing in a quiet hallway. It's dimly lit, not spooky, just soft. You hear nothing outside. There are no demands right now. No requests, no roles to play, just you. There's a door in front of you. You've walked past it 1,000 times. Maybe you forgot it was there. Maybe you never thought it was yours. But tonight, you reach for the handle. You open it slowly. Inside is a room made only for you. It has the smell of something you love. Maybe lavender, maybe old books, maybe the fresh warmth of clean sheets. It's quiet, but not empty. The walls are filled with fragments of you, dreams, colors, laughter, little things you loved before you were so needed by everyone else. There's a chair with a blanket, a journal with your name, a slice of your favorite cake waiting patiently, a robe that feels like coming home. There's a playlist humming softly. There's a candle lit. You didn't light it, but it's been waiting for you. This room is yourself, not the to-do list, not the strong one, not the partner or the parent, just you. And you are welcome here. You don't have to earn this space. You don't have to fill it with anything. You can just sit, you can rest, you can feel your own weight and let it be held. You have missed yourself, and you've been missed. In this quiet space, can you say it? Just softly, maybe only in your mind. I'm still here. And now let that echo come back. Welcome back. You can return here anytime, no matter how loud or busy the day, no matter how far your person is. You still have this room. You still have you. Let's take one more deep breath together. Inhale, hold, exhale. Gently open your eyes if they were closed. Wiggle your fingers. Come back to the room you're in. But bring the other one with you. You're not alone. You never were. If you're a military spouse or someone who knows the ache of loving someone from a distance, you know that the quiet can feel like a weight. You know that strength becomes a habit, and that sometimes you disappear inside it. But what if you didn't have to? What if, in the quiet, you let yourself speak again? What if, instead of only surviving the silence, you started living in it, loving in it, reclaiming pieces of yourself you forgot you had permission to keep? This episode was never really about ghosts. It was about grace, about the way you can still be soft when everything asks you to be strong, about the way you can laugh and eat the cake and wear the face mask at midnight. Not to impress anyone, not to fix anything, just because you're still here and you still matter. And maybe you're not in the military. Maybe you've never said goodbye at an airport or waited by the phone for a call that might not come. But you know what it's like to lose pieces of yourself to other people's needs. To become so good at showing up for everyone else that you stop showing up for you. This story is your invitation too. You don't have to wait for someone to come back to yourself. You can start now. One quiet ritual at a time. One haunted vacuum. One healing bath. One unspoken "I miss me." Because maybe the space between us is a doorway. Not just for love to return, but for you to come through it too. Thank you for being here with me tonight. Follow Moonlight and Moments wherever you listen and share it with someone who might need a little light today. Until next time, and as always, love yourself better than yesterday.
I held the house, I held the weight, smiled at the quiet, swallowed eight, moved through days like I was still, but forgot how I could feel. I lit the light, but never stayed, gave the love, but looked away. What if the silence deep and wide is not just lost, but space inside? The space between us isn't hollow, it's a place I get to follow. Every piece I left behind, every part I called not mine. It's not betrayal to behold, to laugh, to dance, to lose control. The space between us is a door, and I'm not lost, not anymore.
I can rest without permission, feed myself without condition. I can cry and not feel weak or wear red lips just for me. I'm still loving, still aware, but now I give myself the care I gave to everyone but me. Now I set myself free.
The space between us isn't hollow, it's a place I get to follow. Every piece I left behind, every part I called not mine. It's not betrayal to behold, to laugh, to dance, to lose control. The space between us is a door, and I'm not lost, not anymore. This quiet isn't empty, it's kind. It holds the parts I used to hide, and now I reach with open hands back to the self who understands. Not just the waiting but the why, to live my truth and not ask why, to let my own reflection say I'm here, I stayed, I found my way. The space between us isn't